All right, folks, here we go. Today we're working on section 9.5a, solving quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. So what this is another method to solve quadratic equations, which is what we've been working with. Now, if you remember from algebra, you did, well, we just recently did factoring, you did graphing, and you did completing the square before. When we start these, we want to make sure that we put things into this equation. Y equals, we have a x squared, we have an x, and then we have a number. The number in front of the x squared is your a, number in front of your x is your b, and the number that's by itself is your c. And then we will plug all that into this equation right here. Hopefully we memorize that. There's a song that you can use with it. Negative b plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we're going to take this right here. So again, first thing, let me just rewrite the equation. Negative b plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So that's the equation. Now let's take a look at, that's our formula. What number is in front of x squared? Well, there isn't a number, so that's 1. A is 1. What's the number in front of our x? That's a negative 2, so b is negative 2. And then the number that's by itself is your c, and that's negative 24. And again, remember we have an equals, so that's exactly where we want to be. So now we're just plugging stuff in. So you start with a negative b. So negative of negative 2 is going to make that a positive 2. Negative b, we have plus and minus. We have the square root, so b squared, so it's negative 2 squared minus 4 times what is our a? Our a is 1. And our c is negative 24. And all of that is over 2 times our a, in this case 2 times 1. So now we have to go through the math, figure out where we're at, what we need to do, and let's simplify things here. Let me get my calculator here ready to roll. So first thing we do, like I said here, is that's a positive 2 out in front, plus and minus. Negative 2 squared is 4, and then you're going to multiply a negative 4 times 1 times a negative 24. So 4 times 24 gives us 96. So this is a negative, this is a negative. When you put those together, that becomes a positive. That's a 96. All of this is over 2 times 1, which is 2. So I'm going to go this way. Here we have 4 times 96. Hopefully we know that that is 100. So we have 2 plus and minus the square root of 100 all over 2. Hopefully we know that we have to simplify again. So 2 plus and minus, what's the square root of 100? That is 10. So now we get to this point, and now we have to break it down to 2 answers. So this plus and minus right here means that we go 2 plus 10 divided by 2, and we go 2 minus 10 divided by 2. So that's how we get our 2 answers, just like we've been doing when we were factoring the trinomials before. We would get 2 answers. So in this case, 2 plus 10 is 12 divided by 2. That gives us 6. 2 minus 10 is negative 8 divided by 2. That gives us negative 4. So when we look at our final answer, and again, we write it in our braces, 6 and negative 4 is the final answer. So yeah, we could have factored this as well and gotten the same answer, but again, we want to start you off with an easy one and show you how we can have others where you can't factor. Some of you tried putting prime on previous assignments, and you did that because the signs were wrong, not because they were prime. So example number 2, first thing we notice is we have an equals 4. So we don't want an equals 4, we want an equals 0, so we bring that over. So we have 15x squared minus 8x minus 4 equals 0. Take a look and see, is there anything common we can take out of all of them? No, there is not. Again, we should hopefully we're memorizing our formula. Negative b plus and minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So now let's take a look at our numbers, and let's take what we got. So a is number in front of x squared, that's 15. B is the number in front of x, that's negative 8. C is the number that's by itself. When now we have a 0. So C is -4. So let's plug these into our equation here. Negative b, or the opposite of b, so negative of -8, plus and minus the b squared, so -8 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 15, times c, which is -4, and that whole thing is all over 2 times 15. So hopefully you're able to flow with the formula, see where we're at. Now we do some simplifying. So what we do here is we have a negative, or opposite of a -8 makes this a +8. Plus and minus. -8 squared is 64. And these numbers here, you have a -4 times 15 times -4. So 15 times all of that stuff there. That gives us a grand total of 240. So that's and again, negative and a negative, so that makes it plus. And the whole thing is over 30. So now I'm going to go this way, folks, a little bit easier. 240 plus 64. That gives us 304. So we have 8 plus and minus the square root of 304 all over 30. Now this is where we get into the world of decimals. So in the world of decimals, if you square root the 304, and you end up with about 17.44. So this goes to 8 plus and minus 17.44 all over 30. So again, our goal is still to get 2 answers here. So what does that mean? What we're going to do next, we go 8 plus 17.44 divided by 30, and we go 8 minus 17.44 divided by 30. So again, hopefully we have a calculator here to do this. Hopefully we can figure this out. So 17.44 plus the 8 gives us 25.44 divided by 30, which gives us about 8.85. So that one's about 0.85. So next one, you go 8 minus the 17.44, and that gives us a negative 9.44 divided by 30. So you divide that by 30, and we get a negative 0.31. So when we write the final answers to this one here, we're going to end up with a 0.85 and a negative 0.31. So again, when we take a look at these right here, that's what we're going to look at for a solution for these 2 questions. I'm going to stop the video here, and then hopefully it worked and we can